will learn one thing. That one thing that will never change. When the Ring General steps into a ring, he will come out victorious.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the yard streams. I am also joined with, as always, the best of the West you can't forget about, Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
What's poppin'?
Hello.
How we doing?
It's okay.
I
I feel like it's been a long day, I feel like.
Yeah, like you and everyone else in my life. God, and me too, to be honest with you. I can't even say that it was a good day. It was a good day. It was whatever. But
Well,
no,
I wouldn't
yeah.
say it was bad. It was just, it felt very long, you know?
Yeah, mine, I'll agree there that it's like kind of long, but also like, how is it also 7 o'clock? Because the time I left work, I went on a wild goose hunt for some Alpha Brain, which is what I take instead of Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
A lot better for the body and mind, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I need something to help me focus. Absolutely do. And I was going around there, all around Southie, and I couldn't find anything. So I just decided I'll do it tomorrow. I don't want to drive an extra 20 minutes when,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, like it was kind of out of my way. Like I would get home and then I'd have to like drive another 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's traffic. It's 4 o'clock, 4:20 no, raining. You kidding me? People don't know how to drive in the rain.
Yeah.
So no chance I'm doing that. But yeah, then came home and had to learn how to take care of a patient. So that was fun. And now we got Saturday night's main event, Sarah. I told you, I tell the peeps, anytime we have like this big like event, but I'm popping up, I want to know the history of it. You know what I mean? I want to see like the trends and whatnot, see if they're actually moving upwards and going to follow it in the one that's coming up. And I'm happy that the algorithm hit a couple decades ahead because we were in the 80s and it was
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, Randy Savage, you know, like those promos and that style. Very nice that it picked the Saturday night's main event where the starting match was Triple H and John Cena versus Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle. Like, I was like, all right, now we're getting on track. And we're seeing some celebrities too. Like, I'll obviously talk more about it on the Thursday show or whenever we have a more set time to talk about Saturday night's main event. But I'm excited for the show, and if the way it's going of what I'm watching, then we could see some outlandish shit, some crazy like cameos and whatnot.
I just realized I scheduled us for Saturday. I need to cancel that.
Yeah,
Forgot.
Yeah.
So we're just trading. Last week we did SmackDown, but not the Thursday show. This week we'll do Thursday, but not SmackDown.
Not SmackDown. I think we'll find an alternative. That's the thing too with Saturday nights and SmackDown being this weird schedule. Like we can, and also football season too. That plays a big factor into you know, because we could on Sundays, but like Pats are on, my Motor City Kitties are on. You know, like we have other things. Even Sean Ross Sapp takes Sunday to watch football, and he's a Browns fan. All right, we can do with our own amazing teams. But yeah, enough of the Royal Rambling, Sarah. I think we should just get right in to hearing from the peeps. Sophia, I know you remember. It's great to see you again. Vinny, yo, Nathaniel, what's popping? Merry Christmas. And a banner 19 for the Celtics would be cool. All right, let's spin that. That's what I want for Christmas.
That would be very nice.
Nathaniel says you look beautiful and go Pats.
Thank you.
Lenise, Finn was when holding both championship, block faced Dominic at Mad. All right, so I'm going to decode that. And I think what Lenise is trying to say is that when Finn was holding both championships, Dominic was making this mean, mad face. So, I agree there, and we're going to talk all about Finn and Gunther. I mean, you can't have those two feuding and then have me be the only one talking on this show. Because I'm not their number one fan. You are. Say with me, Sarah. You are.
Me.
Unhinged main event. Bro, what up, people? Love to see you still being unhinged. All right. Do you feel like you need an unhinged era, Sarah, or are we out of that?
I feel like it just depends on what we want to talk about. Because, I mean, last week you said I can come off hateful. Maybe that's when I'm unhinged. You
can come off hateful? Yeah. But it's not hateful. I think that's a
passionate.
Start it. Passionate's the best way to say it, to describe it, most positive and I would say most accurate. But yeah, it's more of you just the peeps. Oh, I'm going to turn it into wrestling. All right, here's the comparison. All right. You view yourself as the heel to the peeps, where sometimes the peeps want to cheer you and view you as the face. But you don't know that because you've been a heel for so long. You don't know what genuine crowd reaction feels like. That's the best way I can describe it to you.
Yeah, I'm used to being defensive. So, you know.
I mean, some of the best heels also were babyface too at one point. Just saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can get there. I believe in you. All right, 2025 is going to be an amazing year. All right, amazing year. Adds up to 7 years. Means the number of luck. And then, yeah, Dickie, 3 women's matches on Raw. Good, too. Pretty good. And we're going to talk about it. Starting now, Sarah, because I've been royal rambling here. And your 2 favorite wrestlers in WWE right now, at least in the top 3 or top 5. You take the floor.
So we were blessed with our world heavyweight champion kicking off Raw. Can't complain. Okay. If you do, I don't know how to help you. Okay. So Gunther came out and it didn't take long for Finn to follow suit. Obviously, they basically just trade insults. Gunther, I'm gonna say Gunther cooked my man Fergie. He kind of cooked him.
He did.
I mean, like I looked up to you. You used to be on top. You were the champion for one day. Then you decided to go hang out with a bunch of weirdos in a clubhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think the biggest takeaway from this was Finn insulting Dom. First of all, that was very noticeable. Finn saying that Dom didn't deserve the championship match. He hadn't done anything worthy of earning it. And Damian Priest, of course, coming out somewhat to like save Gunther. That was weird.
I'm gonna all right. I'm not think saying he was that's saving. Why. No, yeah.
But it's like the timing of it was like, oh, the Judgment Day are coming in to surround Gunther, and then Damian comes out. It's like, what are we doing? What? Just let them beat his ass. Like, I don't get why. Why are you here?
Yeah, see, this is where we got to throw that wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling logic.
The wrestling logic. All right, it's out the window. He's angry. He sees an opportunity there in the ring. All right. And it makes sense story-wise because Finn got in the match. Finn interfered, and I mean, with what we've seen so far, I do not believe that Gunther Finn should be one and done.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because, this he comes out, they all start fighting, they're brawling, whatever. We see Finn hit 3 coup de grace on Damian. And then when they're backstage, Adam Pearce is like, hey, guess what? It's a triple threat now. Ha 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 ha. So what we thought was going to happen, which was going to be Gunther versus Finn Balor, and Gunther retaining because Damian making sure Finn couldn't win, not the possibility now. So that, I think, is what is going to make this match even more interesting, because what you thought would happen is not going to happen because Damian's in the match. So that's not possible. This could be kind of the launching pad for, I mean, you assume it's going to be the launching pad for Finn and Damian to continue whatever they're going to do, because they're going to have to be separated from Gunther at some point, and Gunther needs to go off and do something else, because that's basically the only reason why they're all involved in this. It's like they're not really going after the world heavyweight title in this match. It's more so that they're like at each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I want your thoughts on Liv's reaction to the news being broke that it'll be a triple threat. She did not seem pissed. Okay, it was the side eye. She had a little smile there, and then the tone in her voice got me when she, oh, Finn, it's a triple threat now. Is that like, you mad now? You angry? Like, her tone.
Yeah, I know there's something going on. That's why I even said, like, Dom didn't appreciate what he said, and you could see that he did not like it. So something is going on. And I'm wondering, because the rumors are, of course, I think we talked about it last week, that Finn is going to be, or that WWE wants to push him again as a singles guy. So I'm assuming that we're going to see the end of the Judgment Day in some capacity, or at least Finn isn't going to be in the Judgment Day anymore. And I don't think JD will turn on him, but something.
Oh, I think JD would turn.
I don't not at first is what I mean.
Wait, turn on who? Sorry,
Finn.
I react. No, he's not. He's not turning on Finn. That's right.
Yeah, Dom and Liv are doing something, because as much as I loved the pushing out of Rhea and Damian and Finn kind of being the mastermind behind it, I would love for maybe the real mastermind being Dom, because I think he was always the little puppy behind everybody. Like, no one's ever taken him seriously. Everybody's controlling him. He's just following them around. It would be pretty funny if he was along with Finn to push out Rhea and Damian, but then he also is the reason why Finn and JD or whatever, that they get pushed out. You know what I mean? Like, it would be kind of, I don't know, that's kind of like a character arc for him, I feel. Gives him a little bit more legitimacy as like a leader or a boss or something, where he's not just the like little brother that you bring along because you have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I like that. I want to also see them continue Judgment Day in a way.
Me too. Yeah.
Like keep adding new members, and the whole purpose of Judgment Day is that when there is a new leader, the new leader gets kicked out, or the old leader gets kicked out, and then the cycle like that. One, that would be very outside of WWE of them to do. We haven't really seen that other than like the Bullet Club. And then there's another one in New Japan. Not really familiar with everything New Japan, so don't know the name of it. Someone in the comment section will correct me. So I am more interested in the Judgment Day story now than I was a few weeks ago.
It's because of these subtle hints.
Exactly.
You know, it's not just so focused on Damian and Rhea. It's like, and we've been saying that for so long, that there needed to be some sort of separation between the Terror Twins and the Judgment Day, Liv and Rhea. Like, there needed to be something that changed, because people are checking out, you know? So I think, I would love for Dom and Liv to be the new heads of the Judgment Day. I would love that.
Yo, what else he doing except getting bullied by R-Truth?
I mean, it's possible.
That's what you're saying. That's not
That could
bad,
be it.
Dickie. It's not bad.
What I did think was interesting, and this is kind of random, but going back to Gunther, what I think is absolutely wild is I saw this tweet that had like over 1,000 likes on it, saying how Alberto Del Rio was a better champion than Gunther.
No,
And that just
Like-
made my blood boil.
like right
because
right the fuck here, like right there.
if the thing is like you're purposely trying to be controversial, first of all, with choosing Alberto Del Rio. That's why you did that. So you're not
Correct.
even like you're immediately discredited because you're just trying to pick out a guy that you know people are going to have a big reaction to. And secondly, when I was looking at their replies, they were saying like, oh yeah, he's definitely Gunther's better in ring, like he's just better overall, but this championship run is so bad. And I'm just confused because I'm not saying it's top tier. It's not like his intercontinental title run, but I think he's gotten it's not his fault. First of all, I think he's been sucked into the Judgment Day vortex, as we like to say.
It's not his fault,
Basically since what, SummerSlam, because of Damian Priest, the match and whatever. So it's like I think because of that, it's limited what he can do. But if we're really talking about banger matches that he's had, are we really going to pretend like he hasn't had incredible matches as
That's the issue.
champion?
That's the issue.
And he cooked Finn last night.
No, and that's
like,
the biggest issue with everyone saying that his title reign has been boring. It has been boring at all.
Yeah.
One, I'm going to get this fact out of the way because I don't know how to put this in. But Gunther with gold around his waist, whatever it is, just makes sense. That's just him.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the character. All right. So sorry. 2, he is only really had good matches.
Yeah.
And more often than not, very good, excellent matches. The problem with an exciting title reign is that it has to have the excellent, awesome matches, but also some blood-boiling feuds that have been sprinkled in there that give the fans, a promo battle or a backstage interaction or a vignette. Like, there hasn't been any of that. And the only vignettes that we've seen from Gunther's title reign is pretty much just him on a pedestal talking about how great he is.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's him. That's him. So fucking relax, people.
The thing
He's
that
got
I find
great title reign.
I think what I find the most ironic is people complained about his intercontinental title reign, saying that it was too long or it was this or that. Like, he's so boring. It's so predictable. And now everything that he did as an intercontinental champion, you want him to be doing as world heavyweight champion. So what is it? What do you want? I feel like it's just a way for people to complain about him.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. Cause I'm like, I get that it's not the most exciting necessarily, but I would not say it was bad.
Let's get
yes.
it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes. That's why
do it unhinged.
That's why I'm okay with it being a triple threat, because I think that is what is going to split off Damian and Finn, and then Gunther can go somewhere else. And we don't know where that's going to be, but the Netflix debut is right around the corner. CM Punk is on his way back. Close. We don't know what's going on with him. There had been rumors of him and Gunther getting into something. The Royal Rumble isn't too far away. So, like, there's gonna be something. And this is what I've said. I think Gunther needs a legitimate feud. That is something that I've been complaining about. Like, yes, he'll have a good match with anybody, but if you don't give him proper feuds, then people aren't gonna care that he's champion. They're not gonna care that he's putting on good matches or that he's defending the title more than whoever. It's like, if they're not captivated by a storyline that he's involved in, then they're going to be saying foolish things like that. So
Gunther is the modern day version of a Harley Race, one of those old school guys who just kicks ass. Okay, they just kick ass. They don't need the whole kit and caboodle. They don't need the song and dance and the flair. They just need a pair of trunks and their fists. That's it.
If we're talking about like the kids nowadays love to say aura, does this man not have aura?
The
Yeah,
man walks out in a trench coat
yeah,
and does a pose, and I immediately feel inferior.
yeah.
Like,
So
that's aura.
it's like he has everything that we want in a main event top tier professional wrestler. Like, and I'm not even saying that from a biased way, but he's good in the ring. He's good on the mic. He has a presence. He's a legitimate champion, no matter what kind of champion he is. Like, what else do you want? I don't
get it.
People are just being annoying, But anyway, moving on to, we saw the final Testament take on the Wyatt Six, and boy, oh boy, did I love hearing the pop for the Wyatt Six. This is exactly why we've said that they do need to use them sparingly when it makes sense, because we want that type of reaction every single time that they have a match. So I was very excited to hear that, because the crowd wasn't great throughout the entire show.
It was okay.
Yeah, there were moments where they were really good, which we'll talk about, but this is one of them that was like, thank you. And how this match went is exactly how I think everybody wanted, what everybody expected. It was very good. And it's just cool to see the Wyatt Six in the ring. It is becoming more like special, I would say, to see them in the ring. And that's another thing that we were saying of why they should use them sparingly, because you want to still make it feel exciting that you get to see them in action or on the television, and it's not just a vignette or a video or whatever, because of how important this whole group is. You want them to feel that way. So this match was good, and your guy Paul Ellering is basically the reason why the Final Testament won.
I popped. I popped for Paul Ellering. That was the funniest effing thing I've ever seen. Him doing the Mr. Fuji salt in the eye. Incredible finish. And the fact that Karrion Kross even got the pin, everyone's like, why do you get the pin? Why do you get the pin? Because we need to fucking establish that the Final Testament are legit and that Karrion Kross actually know what he's talking about. You know, the theory that we've been going on about for episodes upon episodes? You need to legitimize that.
Yeah.
That's not just a fan theory. That's legit. That's the proof is in the pudding.
Well, and as Richard said, Uncle Howdy taking the pin, not going to be everybody's favorite, but I think it's the most impactful if they're trying to boost the Final Testament and help Karrion, as you were saying. I think that if he had pinned one of the others, it wouldn't like be as memorable, or people wouldn't care as much, because it's like nothing against them, but obviously they're not the leaders of the group, or people don't view them in the same way that they view Uncle Howdy. So I think it was a good decision, and obviously it just extends whatever is going to be happening between these two groups. And I don't know that anyone can really complain, because I think, it's not always like must see television, but I think it's entertaining, and it's definitely different from what is happening with everybody else right now. So I'm into it. And yes,
the crowd loves Redbeard.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for Rowan and Bo. It's the soft spot that you have for them because of their connection to Bray. It's like you can't not love them.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And Bo going for the immediate, yeah, right when the match started.
And then he sent them off. That's like the cry.
I know. So good.
Brody Lee. Like, that's Eric Lee. Like, yeah, obviously the Bo Dallas with the blood connection with Bray, but Rowan was in not only WWE, but AEW with Brody Lee. And then they had the white, like, there's that connection there. So
yeah. I just think it's special when they do that kind of stuff, because I feel it's good for them, obviously, because they're paying homage, but it's also kind of a call to the fans, because they know that the fans were hit hard too with these losses, even if it was, Brody wasn't in WWE. Well, not everyone was happy that he wasn't in WWE, like people still liked him. And so those kinds of things I think are cool to do for the fans also. From a stature standpoint, yes, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I.
Also, Dexter. Hello, Dexter.
Oh my! I'm
He's
not for the reasons you are, but
Yeah.
I love Dexter Lewis. He's a wild card.
He's
Like
really,
he can just jump out of shit. You're like, what's that?
yeah. He's so cool. Then we see CM Punk, who was not there apparently, and had a little backstage interview. I'm assuming pre-taped, with Jackie Redmond, and
What do you mean he wasn't there?
Huh?
Sorry. Continue. I got confused.
And she wanted to ask him about everything that's going on with Seth, obviously, because Seth has been talking a lot about Punk and expressed last week why he hates him. And CM Punk really sat up there and tried to gaslight us into believing that he just had no idea why Seth Rollins would have an issue with him. And so I was happy that he played that card at the beginning, but then he went into further detail of their history and kind of where things changed. I mean, obviously trying to make himself look like the good guy, like he didn't do anything. It was like, oh, I don't know what happened. I don't have a problem with Seth, which we'll get to, but I like that he at least gave us a little bit more to the story than just being so far removed from it and trying to act like, oh, I didn't do anything, this is all him. We got a little bit more from him, which I thought was good because like I said, we already heard from Seth, so it was time to hear what Punk had to say. And so I'm glad he didn't try to just act
I mean, I'm
clueless.
From CM Punk's side, he does have somewhat of a reason to be a little salty with him asking. Hold on, let me back up.
Okay.
He bless you.
Thank you.
Their history, it's been, he said since they were 16 years old, or he was 16 years old. I mean, trying to learn how to be a wrestler or whatnot.
Yeah.
From him for free, we threw the money, he could.
Yeah,
you could tell
that was a dagger.
And now that was a little dig there, and that's what.
But it's also he was 16, brother. Do you think he had thousands
I don't care
to pay you?
Listen, Sarah, I don't give a fuck if it's real or fake.
I
what
know.
He said there.
Yeah.
I strictly just want that
context
added.
Yeah, context.
I want that added.
Yeah.
Because now we have something to go off of.
In a long history.
In a long history, they were in Ring of Honor. To be honest, Seth Rollins and CM Punk do follow a very similar history. Just one is a little bit more of a wild card than the other. And then, oh, I forgot my point. Yeah, the one is more than the other. And, it kind of goes back to this really is to me, the start of the beef is when Seth was tweeting at CM Punk because what he said on I forget the show. It was some WWE Backstage. It was the Fox show that had CM Punk, Mojo, all that, and it was actually Renee Paquette, who's now obviously in AEW. When CM Punk said, was going off, say off Twitter and all that, that also plays a very big role. I think that was where it became more of a personal attack to Seth rather than an attack on the company that he works for.
Yeah, because then he also said basically that CM Punk walked so that Seth Rollins could run. He was basically insinuating that if there were no CM Punk, there would be no Seth Rollins. And I don't really see I don't see so many similarities between them. When I think of Seth Rollins, I don't think of CM Punk. I don't think of a cookie cutter lower version of Punk. I think that is just another dig. It's like, oh yeah, he's a guy that had long hair and he was different and he liked metal. It's like, okay, that's just
It's just
another
more the
dig.
career path to me.
Yeah.
It's not really the image and likeness. It's more of the similar career path that they follow.
Yeah. So Seth eventually comes out after apparently, I liked this joke, killing Sully from Monsters Inc. to make those
God.
sleeves.
I mean, those fuck like,
Man.
like, come on.
Yeah.
Imagine me going out in Seaport
I know.
looking like that.
I don't know. It's called fashion. We just don't understand. But anyway,
I'm wearing this. I'm gonna wear.
yeah.
Like,
I have to say, I guess I have a mini rant here for this, okay? Because Seth went out and explained himself a bit more for why he had these feelings towards Punk and addressing what Punk had said in the video package. Seth goes on about how, yeah, I did reach out about training, blah blah blah. Eventually, when he left, I reached out to him, never heard back. I got ghosted, and then he took on like a decade of just tirade against WWE. Had nothing to do with anybody at the company, essentially. Talked trash about the company and everybody in it. Blah blah blah. Right? We all know what Punk did. Whether you're a diehard CM Punk fan or not, you know this man could not shut up about the company. I got so frustrated because I understand, I guess, at least in this crowd, there were more CM Punk fans than Seth Rollins fans, apparently.
This was really funny.
But the way that he goes on and talks about how like terrible Punk was during his time, and then the audience starts chanting CM Punk, I'm like, you guys are the most annoying group of people I've ever had to listen to.
That was the epitome of CM Punk chants. Like, I'm sorry, like, that was.
Come on, guys. Because like he didn't tell any lies. He didn't.
No lies. And they chanted CM Punk right back in the face. Like,
but it's like whatever. So it's gonna make this feud very interesting because technically they're both good guys right now. And you would think, as a WWE loyalist, the fans would mostly want to side with Seth because what he's saying is true. The CM Punk fans, even if they chanted his name for years after he was gone, obviously we heard that for many years. On WWE programming. We heard it from even some of the wrestlers that were big fans. I mean, Indy Hartwell, for instance, she expressed how she was so disappointed and so heartbroken about what Punk did and the things that he was saying, blah, blah, blah. Like, people felt a certain way about how he behaved once he was out. So you would think, if you are a WWE loyalist, it's going to be so easy to chant for Seth. But we saw that's not the case. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go about this, because are they going to try to make Seth the bad guy because they want a villain and a hero in this situation? Because obviously, generally, they don't like two baby faces going against each other. And in this case, not for a championship. They're going to want somebody to be the one to root for and the one to boo. So I'm intrigued about what Triple H is going to do, because Seth has not been a heel for a while. Punk has not been a heel in WWE since his return. Doesn't feel like that's coming anytime soon.
No, you won't see heel CM Punk. To me, this inevitable feud feels like water. Okay, water. We'll say, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Like water and soda, just for any, like, two liquids that are just gonna mix. All right, it's just gonna go, like, it's gonna be one this way, one that way, like oil. I don't know. I'm losing my comparison. Point is, Sarah, I'm trying to make is that in this feud, there really doesn't need to be the set, bad guy, good guy. To me,
I disagree.
To market, I think the fans are going to decide.
That's
Let
what
the
I'm
fans
saying.
say they're too big
No,
of
that's
names.
what I'm saying,
That they're
though.
too big of names. Like they're
But that's
too
what I'm
big.
saying. They're not going to go into it being like, okay, Seth's going to be the bad guy, Punk's going to be the good guy. What I'm saying is, if the fans are going to react like that on a nightly basis,
Okay.
where they're cheering for Punk over Seth, they might
Yeah.
have to inevitably lean into Seth being the bad one. You know what I mean? Which I think is interesting too, because then what are you doing? Like, if we're going to harp on the fact that Seth is like, Punk hated WWE, he left, he gave up on everybody, he talked crap for all these years, WWE then making him the hero,
Yeah, that's nonsense.
that's crazy.
That's nonsense. Welcome.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think, like you said, the fans are going to dictate it. I'm just wondering how far they'll go, or if they really will try to force, like, okay, if the fans are going to chant for Punk, because we don't know yet. We've seen these interactions with them face to face in the ring, but they were equally cheered for when they came out. Punk will come out, they'll chant CM Punk, but when Seth's music hits, they're singing his song and they react to both of them. But it's like, once we see that they're actually going to have a match and have a feud that we've been waiting for, it's like, okay, who are the fans going to side with? That is like maybe one of the more fun parts of what could come out of this.
The rumor right now is that they will face off at Netflix.
That's a waste, in my opinion.
What?
That's a huge waste.
I disagree.
I think it's a Big Four worthy match. We're talking about a match that they were going to have potentially at WrestleMania 40, and you're going to put it on a Netflix debut. That's wild. This has Mania written all over it. If it's not Mania, it's a SummerSlam match. Because to me, we cannot build up the Netflix debut to being equal to a Big Four. That's
what they're saying it's going to be.
But it's not. Because then every week after that for the next 10 years is going to be on Netflix. So it's like, to me, that doesn't make any sense.
You got to start off with a bang. Though. That's what we're saying.
You can,
like,
but you don't have to do it like that. Not with
that
match.
With the potential for what this feud has, you could absolutely throw the first match on yes. On this Raw, absolutely. It's dollars and cents.
I think that's a mistake.
It is. Thank you.
I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a waste of a potentially good match, but
all right.
I don't know. Anyway, so also in the middle of this, as Seth is going on and on, Mr. Sami Zayn's music hits, and when I tell you, I love this man, but holy moly, I was like, go away. Just go away. Stay in the back. Just like,
this
stop.
Is the thing. Sami Zayn gets in the middle of things.
He just that's why I'm saying, what's up with his meddling? Like, why? Okay, you meddling for Jey Uso, sure, you guys are best buddies, you ride hard for your Uso, whatever. Why are you out here for Punk? Like, why do you have to be involved in all of this? Like, what? Why? Like, I think it's more so just looking at it from a realistic standpoint of somebody always trying to be like the peacekeeper or trying to get you to feel the same way about something or someone as they do. And I'm just like, everybody has their own experiences, everybody has their own interactions, everybody has their own lives, and the way that they interact with people or the relationships that they have with people or how they go about dealing with a certain situation is not the same. So Sami coming out here and being like, you just need to move on. And I'm like, bro, really? What are we doing? What are we doing? You were trying to convince Jey Uso to not forgive Roman Reigns, but just a couple weeks ago. And now you're out here telling Seth that he needs to get over it. What are we doing? What are we doing, Sami?
He tries to play peacekeeper on Raw.
It's so
and
annoying.
When Adam Pearce isn't even trying to be peacekeeper, I think it's a lost cause, pal.
Just well, because the thing is why does Sami feel like he needs to defend Punk? You know what I mean? Like, you guys can be cool or whatever, but like, why do you feel like a kinship to him to this point already that you need to go out there and like defend his honor? Like, why can't you just accept that Seth has beef with him? That's why it's like finally he was like, you know what, do what you got to do.
'Cause
But it's like,
yeah.
but why are you out here? Like you could have had these thoughts in the back. You know what I mean? You didn't need
This
to
could have
waste
been
our
a
time.
backstage segment.
Yes, you could have just gone up to him and been like, yo, I'm sorry for last week. Deal with it how you want. All right, cool. Like I didn't need to hear you for 5 minutes have an open
You know
dialogue about your thought process. I
You
didn't.
know what? Just go to the next banner because
Okay.
my transition into
Well,
it is going. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
this
because this person, Drew McIntyre,
oh my god.
is you right now. Like,
Yes.
just shut up. Like,
Yes.
it feels like you want to Claymore kick Sami Zayn straight in the face. So
Yes. Yes. Well, this
Drew, you do it
excited
for
me because one, obviously, Drew being back in WWE after his hiatus, which obviously there is a lot to it, as we know. Like a family member passed away and whatever. So he had some things on top of healing from all the stitches he had in his head. So I'm very glad that he's back, and I'm glad that they're already like putting him full swing into the next feud, which appears to be with Mr. Sami Zayn, because he came out, beat him up on the entrance ramp, and then they made the match official for Saturday night's main event, which I love because I don't think that every match on Saturday night's main event needs to be something that has been brewing, because yes, it's like a PLE, but it's not a PLE, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a weird middle ground between the last PLE and then maybe the Netflix debut or even the Royal Rumble. So it's like being treated as an elevated Raw, you know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be every single match is super deep. So like this match is like, yeah, okay, yeah, because that's going to be good. But the feud will continue from this. You know what I mean?
it's a nicer collision. It's like an upgraded collision.
Oh, this is it's going to be way better.
Like that's what I mean. Is that this like Tony Khan envisions Collision being a Saturday night's main event?
Yeah.
For someone who actually has watched the program
Mhm.
more than the common man, that's what the feel of it is. But the problem is that they don't have the star power. They
Yeah.
have the wrestling star power with the amount of names in the wrestling sphere. But the
Mhm.
problem is WWE does not operate in the wrestling sphere. It operates on its own level. And that's why when they do a Saturday night's main event, it feels like a pay-per-view or a
Mhm.
PLE.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it's not, but like kind of is. Like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like day drinking.
It's like
Oh my god, Saturday Night Main Event's like day drinking. You just, like, you
Collision
don't
to
know.
me is
Like,
almost like
chewy?
it feels the way they go about it. It's like their NXT.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that's what it feels like, but more of developmental, you know, because they usually will just throw people over there that it's like, yeah, they need more experience and we need to see them in the ring. We need people to get familiar with them. We'll occasionally have like big names on the show just to get people to watch, but it's like you're really just testing things out. Like that's what it seems like it's become. But I think I'm excited about this match. I'm excited that Drew's back. And I'm curious to see where this goes, because as we're talking about, Saturday night's main event is the last big stop before the Netflix debut and before the Royal Rumble. So how long is this going to go? And this brings Drew kind of back into the CM Punk universe, because that's really the connection between Drew and Sammy. So how is that gonna go? I still think they're gonna have a moment in the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew like gets Punk out or something. We're gonna see something at the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah.
I'm
We're
excited
gonna
about
see
it.
some sort of like he tries to eliminate him. Like you can't. Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
see something
nothing
like
that's
that.
gonna like continue their feud more, but something that is gonna kind of like let him get the last laugh or something. You know what I mean? Like if he can take away his WrestleMania main event match again, you know, I think that's pretty cool, because like look at how many times Punk screwed him out of getting the world heavyweight title. I mean, they're not equal. They're not. I don't care what anybody says. They're not equal. Anyway. Oh, Jackson says also there's a rumor that there's a major title change at Saturday Night Main Event. I think it's the world title change or WWE title. I don't think either of them are changing. There's
I think
no
WWE is.
Okay,
100% is. I think they're gonna do it.
I could see it more being Cody Rhodes, I guess, simply because he's against Kevin Owens. But I just don't see. I don't like the idea of Damian or Finn winning the World Heavyweight right now when they're gonna have their own thing, and then Gunther feels like an afterthought. Like they can they can have a Damian and Finn feud, but it doesn't have to be around the title. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree. That's why I
Yeah.
believe it is the WWE Championship. Because Sarah, do you remember when John Cena first won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 21?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what also happened at that WrestleMania 21?
I don't know what you're referring to, but
The first ever Money in the Bank match. Yes, Sarah, correct.
oh yeah.
So what happened that year? I'm gonna just cut to the chase. Edge cashed in on Cena at New Year's Revolution after the Elimination Chamber. That broke up Cena's title reign for a month, maybe, because I'm like 90%, 99% sure Cena won it back at the Royal Rumble. But what it do? It just furthered the story between them. It gave the fans something different. Like whatever you thought at the time, it did a job. All right. And when you go back years later, like we are now, thinking about it, the common fan who is not me or you will remember John Cena just being champion from WrestleMania 21
Yeah.
to when he was injured at WrestleMania 23, before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania 23. That's what they'll remember. So in the long haul, this means nothing if Cody Rhodes loses, and especially to Kevin Owens, where it means something to the story, and it's not just to give the title to somebody to see how they look or act in the main event picture. I'm for it. And I'm not, I'm for it.
I'm not against it, per se. I just wonder if they'll do it, like, because of the conversation that we had when we were talking about SmackDown, is because of the history of the WWE Championship and how difficult it was for Cody to finally beat Roman. And so it was kind of like he became the new, he was the guy at the top of the mountain. And so you want to believe that it's difficult to beat Cody for that title because of how difficult it was for him to get that title. Exactly. So I think that is where it's kind of a little sketchy, I would say, about them having him drop the title, especially on like a Saturday night's main event, But I also wouldn't hate it if like Randy came back. What if Randy screws Cody? Like, not necessarily, it could be one of those things where he's not necessarily helping Kevin, but he's screwing over Cody. You know what I mean? And it just happens to be that it benefits Kevin. I don't know, because I would not be mad about Cody versus Randy. I wouldn't be mad about that. Everybody's been wanting it. So, and obviously he's going to be coming back at some point.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
More kayfabe injury than real injury. I just want this out there for the chat, for us to timestamp so that we have record of it, because we still have not found the episode of when we said Cody Rhodes would be the bloodline, or even Solo Sikoa being tribal chief. Like, we don't have these. But here now, chat, remember this. Kevin Owens is going to hit Cody Rhodes with a pile driver to win it. That is how you further the story.
Interesting. Richard says if Gunther versus Goldberg is Mania, he's losing that belt soon. I really hope that that's not what happens, because I will be so disgusted. I will be beyond disgusted. I feel like that's the epitome of doing my man's dirty at WrestleMania. Okay. One year after losing the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, you're going to put this man in there with a 55-year-old washed up Goldberg? No.
The high I was on and like the intelligent level, like that we were going, like, ideas, like, we're going great, and then just derailed with Goldberg.
We can't do that. We can't. I mean, I understand.
Oh my god!
But why they would do it, but at the same time, no.
Oh my god.
I also don't know if Goldberg would want to do that match without it being involving the title. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he would be like, yeah, let me go do that for nothing, but he also would have to lose. So, but anyway, speaking of championships, the women's intercontinental title tourney continued on Monday. We saw Ivy Nile versus Lyra Valkyria versus Zelina Vega, which I think this was like the perfect triple threat matchup they could have possibly put together, because they are all little ladies and no one could complain that anybody was dominating because of their size or anybody was screwed over because of their size. They're all pretty much on the same level playing field here.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job.
No, it's a very good match.
It was.
It was, you know what it was? It was a good performance for Ivy Nile, I thought. Like, we were saying it, I said it on the SmackDown breakdown last week, that the way they presented her on SmackDown and then followed that up with her match, obviously the right person won.
Yes.
But the way that she, wrestled in the match, whatever you want to call it, and then sold all that was believable. Like, like she did her job.
Yeah.
And at this stage of establishing yourself, you're going to have to take a couple losses like this, and it'll only add more to this whole American made. We saw what happens when Julius and Brutus.
Stop thinking about your man's Y2J. Nasty.
I'm sorry. I just got the spotlight on me. But they, with the slap, and it was, and then they got aggressive, all that. Well, obviously Chad Gable just can't open slap hand.
Yeah.
Ivy Nile. So what is the way that she bounces back from a match? And trains hard, and then she gets maybe a win. Like, I don't even care if it's over Maxine. Like, the next match she didn't get an easy win, and then something there. So it's like, all right, we're making her into a legitimate contender for something.
Yeah, like if they're gonna build upon this could almost be like her breakthrough moment, where people are like, oh, okay, she actually can hang, and like they'll remember her performance in this. We'll have to see, but obviously Lyra won. We all thought that was going to happen anyway. So as you said, the right person won, and it will continue again next week. And then we move on to the New Day after their crazy swerve last week, turning on Big E. The crowd reaction to them.
Oh my, everyone's reaction.
Yes, it was so loud. It was, Dirty Dom type of reaction.
Dirty Dom type.
And what I would say about this was, what was most shocking to me is the fact that it was that loud, because we talked about the idea of one of them turning on the other and exploring the idea of one of them being a heel, and how like neither one of them have really been the bad guy in their professional wrestling careers. I mean, we want to talk about the New Day has been around for 10 years at this point, so they haven't been anything but themselves for the past 10 years. So for most people, they're not really going to remember much from either one of them before that, other than remembering that Kofi used to be Jamaican. That's it. That's like all people really remember. So the fact that they were able to get that much heat from the crowd that had otherwise been, I would say, relatively mediocre throughout the night. Insane. We were wrong. I think
this was the loudest.
We might have been wrong with thinking that they couldn't get this heat, but I think that they wouldn't have gotten this if they weren't together. I guess that's what I should have said. We should say.
Sarah, I want to give us a little bit more credit here and more you credit. I don't think anyone expected this to go as it's going right now.
Yeah.
No one could have predicted the nuclear Dirty Dom heat that they are getting right now. And it's not just them going out to the ring how you would usually bring them out. Music hits, come out, boo, boo, all that. It was everything that went into it. The intro of them walking into the arena, and even the crew guy
and
who
Cody
just
Rhodes
sets up the stage. He was like, no. Cody Rhodes saying you should be ashamed of yourself. And on top of that, I have a little some notes here because this was it was awesome. The interview with Kathy Kelly, how that starts, where you could tell that there's kind of tone there, but like we're on her side, so we don't care. Xavier Woods picks up on it and is like, "Why are you asking it like that? What's the point?" And then they took Stu's camera. And then just walked out to the ring. No music, no nothing. And then they just go into the ring to a rain of boos. They can't even talk.
Yeah.
They didn't get anything out. And then they're just like, you know what? Screw it. And they exit stage right. Like, it was, I could not have predicted this. I don't think anyone could have predicted how well this went.
Yeah, because like we said, they had been the over-the-top, fun, like flamboyant characters for so long. It's like it's gonna be hard to boo them. Like, are they gonna be able to do it? It didn't take them long. Like, the way that they went about this was so much better than what we were predicting. I mean, first of all, we didn't think that they were gonna turn on Big E, but you can tell, like, so to me, this was such a good example of how well they did that segment last week for the New Day celebration. It was credit to the work that Kofi and Xavier did, the way that they spoke, the things that they said, like how hurtful they were. But it also is like a huge hats off to the impact that Big E has made and continued to make on the crowd, despite being gone for almost 2 years. Is that what we said? So
he's been almost 2 years. Yeah, almost 3 years. It's 2 years.
So the fact that he's still getting that type of response and not really being around in any sort of capacity other than on PLE, desks, pre-shows and whatever, that's pretty remarkable because you don't get that type of heat for nothing. Like, you have to be really hated or really loved to get that adverse reaction. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where this goes because it's definitely a lot better than what anything we could have predicted, what anybody could have predicted, like you said.
The thing is, they came out to no music. So we have no idea if it's a new day. Yes, it is.
It's a
going
new
to hit.
Day.
Well, here's a little detail that I don't think a lot of people realize. Whose voice is that says it's a new day? Yes, it is. It's Big E. You can't have them come out to that music if Big E is calling them out because
I wonder if they'll go with like the no music thing. You know how some of them have done that where they like don't have music.
Ciampa did it. I like that. I like the no music for now. Dolph Ziggler did it a little bit when he was doing that weird, like, I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I need to find myself.
Yeah.
I could fuck hard with the no music.
Think I would prefer that until we can kind of figure out their vibe in this character. You know what I mean? Because like, right now it's like, we hate them for what they did to Big E, but what exactly is their vibe? We don't know yet, because it's like, we don't know yet. We don't know how they're going to dress. We don't know how they're going to be in matches. Are they going to try and cheat to win? Are they going to we don't know what type of song would benefit them. So correct. I think that'll be an interesting thing to look forward to.
When do you debut that? At the Netflix, the Raw Netflix? That's too far away though. That's 4 weeks. Well, do they need to be on screen for 4 weeks though?
No, because Big E's not around. So I doubt it. It's 2 hours of Raw. Also.
2 hours of Raw. We have only a few weeks left before Netflix when it's going to be the WrestleMania of all Raws. Why not debut everything on Netflix?
Yeah, well, I agree.
I'm okay with that.
And then last but not least, we get to the main event, which come on, really?
This
was so bad. I'm sorry.
Alabama taking on the D3 school because they got paid.
This did not need to be the main event. Okay. We appreciate that this was the third women's match. We appreciate that it was women, obviously main eventing, but we did not need to see this in the main event, especially based on how it went, which of course, as I wrote, Rhea Ripley defeated Raquel Rodriguez because why wouldn't she? What I did think was very interesting, and it did not go in and out of my brain, Did you hear when they said that this was Rhea's first singles match in almost a
A
year?
year. Yeah.
I have people arguing with me that she is going to beat Liv at the Netflix debut for the championship.
No.
And
No.
I'm like, there's still 3-4 weeks left, but honey, this was her first singles match in almost a year, and you're saying she should have a title around her waist when she also had a title for a year? Stop. Stop it
Yeah.
right now.
I'm okay with Rhea winning at WrestleMania against Liv. I want
Yeah.
to see Liv have just a monstrous reign where she just wins. That's the whole point of her gimmick right now, is that she's just the girl next door, cute, everyone loves, has a dark side, but she's going to find a way to win. That's why she has the muscle. That's why she has Dirty Dom. That's why she, for the time being, still has Judgment Day in her corner. You know,
Mhm.
like, I'm okay with that because that is her title reign. That's the story that she's on.
Yeah.
So if she loses to Rhea at WrestleMania for it, that's fine to me because the story's finished. And
Mhm.
also, when did Rhea get hurt again?
Rhea got hurt the Monday after
Yeah.
Mania.
Yes. So she never got that full title reign after continuation of the title reign, right? Because no, she walked in champion, right?
What?
To WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yes.
Why am I blanking?
She was against Becky.
I know, but I don't remember Becky walking in as champion.
No, I don't think she was champion. I think Rhea retained, right?
That's what I thought.
Rhea, because Rhea had won it the previous year against Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still want to see another 6-month reign. Like, we haven't seen the last of Rhea Ripley as world champion.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's the case, sure. People wanting to rush this by saying Io should defeat her at Saturday night's main event and how Rhea should win eventually, before Royal Rumble. Why? Though you need to have Liv as the champion. That's the whole point, and she's doing a damn good job of it. What are you gonna do with Rhea as champion? Who is Rhea gonna then face? It's gonna go back to Io Sky? No, that's rushed.
I know.
Rushed.
I think most of this is, again, I know for a fact, one person that I've spoken to about this, they don't see Liv as a main eventer. So I think that's what a lot of this goes back to. Conversation that we have almost on a weekly basis, the reaction to Liv and the way that people want to discredit her. And you don't have to be a fan. I'm not saying you do, obviously, but I think that people are trying to rush her reign because they don't like her or they don't take her seriously. And I feel like, doesn't that mean that she should be champion then, so that she can get that credibility and legitimacy that you are saying she doesn't have? Like, shouldn't she have a longer reign and have different feuds outside of Rhea? And shouldn't we see more from her and Judgment Day and Dom and whatever? Rhea doesn't need that help. Rhea became more established because she won the title, because she joined Judgment Day. So it doesn't matter. Rhea doesn't need a championship for people to take her seriously. No. She never did anyway, because of, obviously
Look at her.
Has a presence.
Look at her.
But it's the same thing with Io. Io was champion for almost a year as well. We're not that far removed from when she was last champion on SmackDown. So, I get that people don't want to see Rhea versus Liv continue to Mania because they're over it. Sure, I totally understand. But I also think we need to stop trying to speed up the process because you just don't want to see Liv as champion anymore. You need to realize the benefit of being champion and how much this has helped her career, whether you're a fan or not, and why it doesn't need to. Because to me, this is an old school mentality. It needs to be Charlotte or Becky or Rhea or Bianca. They're the only ones who can be champion. And then when it comes to the men, it's like, back in the day, it was only John Cena or only Randy Orton or only Triple
H.
It's like, no, that's how it used to be, though. You know, like I'm glad that we are in an era right now where Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion. Gunther is the
God.
world heavyweight champion. If it weren't that way, it would probably be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns right now, because those are like the top guys on
It's only
each
2,
brand.
but it's
And
not true.
and both of them are great, but that gets boring. People cannot
Very
sit here and
boring.
tell you straight to your face that when John Cena was champion for a year or long, whatever he was, the multiple times that he was champion, that it didn't get boring. Even if you were a John Cena fan, you didn't always want to see him be champion because it was like, oh, okay, you know?
As John Cena's #1 fan, Sarah, did you find it boring when
I
he
mean,
was
at
champion?
points, yeah. There were
When he
times
was
where
squashing the Netflix?
It's like-
when he was squashing the Nexus?
yeah, I hated that. But yeah, but it's like, that's the thing, is people want different, then we get different, then they want what they used to complain about. It's just like very
What do we call those
frustrating.
people?
Fickle
Fucking
pickles.
fickle pickles.
Yeah.
I want, if anyone can fucking make me a fickle pickle like cutaway video thing that we do with the different wrestling quotes of like pickle Rick or whatnot, and just like I
Yeah.
don't know, like fickle the Brian Danielson when I sent you that YouTube thing, like the
Mhm.
fickle, and it's just a pickle like spinning. I'm gonna do it. I gotta find it.
So then would Rhea win the Royal Rumble? Potentially, if they're
But,
going to
like-
continue that. I don't think it's necessary, because I think we kind of know that the inevitable would be Liv versus Rhea. But it's hard to say. Like, if we were going to pick a woman to win the Royal Rumble right now, I would say, yeah, Rhea. That just makes the most sense, because we know that she would pick Liv. It's not as clear, I feel like, on SmackDown, mostly because Tiffany still has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So it's like, it doesn't really matter who wins over on SmackDown.
That's so true. It doesn't matter.
So I think if we had to choose on December 10th, she makes the most sense. Jackson also says, I see Io versus Rhea at Mania, and for SmackDown, Tiffany versus Charlotte. Tiffany versus Charlotte is probably happening, but Rhea versus Io, I don't know. For the title, I know they kind of like teased it a little bit, but I don't know.
What do you think about an NXT person winning?
I know we talked about
Royal
this, and I
Rumble?
said no.
Even women's?
Yeah, no, not right now. Because I think that there's enough going around the titles individually that we don't need an NXT name. Because it's like, if worst case scenario, it's Rhea that wins and goes against Liv, right? On Raw. We have Nia, who's the champion right now, but like everybody is in the mix for the championship over on SmackDown, because what's going on with Jade? Bianca's looking sketchy. Naomi's looking sketchy. Tiffany has the briefcase. Charlotte is cheesing her return. I mean, she posted a picture of her at Flatbacks. So it's like, there's so much going on that it feels like, okay, we don't really need to throw a random person in, because then you also have to think, is that a Mania match that people are going to be begging to see? I don't think so. Not at this point.
I'm just saying, Charlotte did challenge for the NXT Women's Championship, so what if the winner won or challenged for the NXT?
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I don't think that they need it this year. Maybe next year, but...
It's not impossible. It's not, but it's improbable.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I kind of want to put a video about Roxanne Perez winning. I could see here's the thing. I could see.
Go ahead. I'll say it after.
I could see Roxanne Perez losing the NXT Women's Championship to Julia, and then for some reason finds her way in the Royal Rumble, and then ends up winning it. And then she wants Julia or whatnot, but then the journey of her, who does she choose? Liv gets in her way or something. Or someone else gets in her way when she's trying to get Julia. And she's like, no, F this. Why am I going after the NXT title? I'm going to go for the main thing.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Roxanne, I feel like at the beginning of her first title reign was being very treated very similarly to how Liv is being treated. As women's world champion, and then once she won it again, and she's been fighting harder, and then fighting the Japanese girls, people have taken her a bit seriously. Guarantee you, the second she's brought up onto the main roster, the shit that Liv is dealing with, she's gonna get it the same, because she's a small girl. That's what it is. I really think that that's all that it is. If
they have a
Liv was
height
like
thing.
5 inches taller, I don't think anyone would be saying shit.
Yeah, if Liv was 5 inches taller and had biceps the size of Buddy Matthews and looked like China, then yes.
That's the thing. Don't we want girls that look different? Because like as great as
Kinda.
Rhea is and Bianca and Jade, and then you have the girls in NXT, it's like they're great, but we also need Liv Morgans and Zelina Vegas and Nia Jax. You know what I mean? Like we need all of these girls. That it's the same thing with the men. Not every man is going to come in and look like Bobby Lashley. But
Sami Zayn needs to win a WWE championship at some point.
It's like, or Chad Gable. You know what I mean? Like they can't all look like the
Master
same.
Gable.
So why do people have such a hard time accepting it when it's a girl that is smaller? It's not like we're saying, oh, Rey Mysterio needs to be the world heavyweight champion again. No one's saying that, but he has to beat the Big Show to do it. Like, no, that's not what we're saying. But like their size shouldn't matter. And why is Roxanne taken more seriously now than she used to be? She's tiny.
The she's going with.
But you know, but you understand what I'm saying.
I understand.
You know,
I understand it. I know. I understand. I'm just more telling it to the peeps who do not pick up on what you're putting down, because you are right. Like, I mean, the whole point of WWE champion or WWE Women's Champion is not because you are the biggest or the strongest. It's everything that goes into being a professional wrestler. That's what gets you a world championship. But the WWE is all of that, and then what the company wants you, or how the company views you to the public. How, like, they want you to be the face of the company, so that when the first thing that a potential fan sees when they're going to tune in, well, who's their top guy? Well, you're the top guy. How are you? Like, what are you? And then from there, it doesn't matter about size. I mean, for God's sakes, Big Show was as stiff as a pole. He couldn't do shit, you know, but you put the world title on him because that man should absolutely be world champion. You know, like it's little things like that. It's little things like that you pick up on if you watch. But that was Raw.
That was Raw.
That was Raw this week. Netflix is in a few weeks. We got NXT on right now. I haven't turned it on yet. We Peacock, it was apparently the end of the episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, so it went straight to WWF Superstars. Wow, Sarah. Like the names of people that I'm seeing, you think our jobbers were bad? Like, do you remember the Genius?
No.
Ever heard of the Genius? He's on right now. He was the lackey to Mr. Perfect.
Oh.
But like he's in there, and then some random tag team. Like Bret Hart was facing a jobber when I looked over as I was taking my notes. Like it's awesome. Like it's so fucking awesome. But yeah, while that's going on, I gotta shut off that to turn on NXT and tune into that. Because oh sweet Jesus. Oh my god. It's the eyes, Sarah. Like, oh, where you been, dude? Vinci, can you tell me where you been? Like, how's catering? What are they serving this week? That's what I want to know. Look at those death eyes. God damn it. All right. Well, anyways, yes, it is Randy's brother. Good shit, Vinny. The Genius is actually Randy Macho Man's brother. I don't know if you knew that. Good shit, Vinny. But yeah,
you came at the very end, Final Boss.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Go back and watch the show, Final Boss. And maybe if you don't want to right now, then oh, look at that face. If you don't want to watch it right now, don't worry. We got the clips posted for you from the show. All you got to do is check out the page, hit the subscribe button, and bell notification to know every time we go live, so you're not like the Final Boss and show up at dismissal. And then you see the clips that we post from our streams. And yeah, go tune into that. Go follow us on all social media platforms in the links in the descriptions below. I tweet, Sarah tweets, we all tweet. It's a lot of fun. And Instagram as well. So until next time, till Thursday this week, because we're back to regular scheduled programming. I'm not sick anymore. Glory to God. God is good. So I'm not sick anymore. We'll be back on Thursday for the Super Show. And we should probably give some Saturday night's main event predictions. I'm assuming. So we'll do that along with the other nonsense shit that we do on the Super Show. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you on Thursday.